I'll be honest and say today's episode wasn't that interesting in my opinion. Though I had problems with it right from the get-go, because its quote of wisdom for us is, ignore your instincts at your peril. And while Ahsoka trusting her instincts was paramount to saving Luminari's life in this episode, by trusting those instincts she missed the bigger picture and allowed Nute Gunray to escape when one of the clones turned out to be a traitor. Which raises the question, is it really better to trust your instincts and ignore your head and logic? Apparently not. The loss of one person is not worth losing someone whose capture could potentially bring about the defeat of thousands and save millions of lives. I guess this comes down to the power of the value of a group of individuals or just a single individual. I think it was a bad trade in this instance. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, after all. Outside of that, the episode was largely forgettable. I mean, you knew Nute Gunray had to escape. Mostly because if he was captured, it would probably be damaging to the Sith's goals plans right now. Especially since Nute probably knows a lot about the Sith's bases and locations and stuff. He's an important rube, if nothing else. So you knew they had to hit the magic reset button and put everything back to where it was before, basically. And while they're hinting they might be able to capture him again, I seriously doubt it. The series just won't allow for that to happen. If he gets caught again, he'd just get away again, which would make the episode recapturing him pointless. Which is sort of the biggest problem, I guess, with this episode in general. You know Nute Gunray has to get away. Then again, we also get to watch the clone trader get what he gets just desserts, I guess, when Ventress stabs him from behind with her lightsabers. Well, a lightsaber for his cheek about how he was gonna boast about his exploits to her master's Darth Count Dooku, Darth Tyrannus. That's his Sith name. Though Darth Tyrannus himself isn't probably that important. We only get a short scene of him in the episode anyway, with him talking with Darth Sidious about how he's trusting this mission to Ventress, and how this mission is probably more to her skill since she's an assassin. Which, to be fair, is true. Ventress is an assassin, and a very skilled one at that. And she's more than enough for this mission, apparently, with a little help from a treacherous clone. She was able to escape with Nute Gunray, damaged a Republic ship and left it practically crippled, and almost managed to kill a Jedi Master if it wasn't for the interference of a young Padawan, who tends to think more highly of herself than she probably should. But outside of that, the episode just isn't that interesting at all. I mean, I don't really care for the droid versus clone trooper fight in this episode because it's pointless, because you know it's going to come down to the Jedi and the Ventress at some point, because she's in the episode. Gotta have a lightsaber duel. Gotta fit in there somewhere. She's too important a character not to make her have a lightsaber duel with the characters involved. Which shows another problem. They put too much emphasis on the lightsaber, especially in a conflict that's as much political and economical as anything. Or at least it comes across as if it's probably political and economical, considering we had the taxation of trade routes being the start of the issues with the Trade Federation, and they only seem to have expanded since then to what we have now. It also raises the question of what exactly does the taxation of trade routes mean? Not really. Going back to the first episode, it still bugs me. Was there anything particularly good about this episode? Not really, to be honest. It's a very average episode, and I guess it really, while it maybe shouldn't be completely ignored, it's always worth checking out some of the other episodes. Especially since you knew it had to be a magic reset button the episode right from the get-go. So anything that happens is instantly less interesting because you already know how things are basically going to play out, or at least how the ending will play out. And that's the only part that really matters in a story more often than not. How you get there is maybe 4/10 of a work sometimes, but the ending is crucial and worth the majority of your points at least. And that's really all I have to say about this episode. It's just a expected ending that really just leaves the episode boring and it just feels tedious. It's going through the motions for the sake of resetting things back to the way they were before anything changed. So I guess I'll see you tomorrow. And thankfully I'm off tomorrow, so I won't have to do this while only on like 3 hours of sleep. Probably.